Greetings, Earthlings! My name is Zero Jake and welcome to Stellaris, where today we are going to be doing an after-action report for the live stream that took place a few weeks ago. A note before we start. The two audio sources that I was recording with are misaligned in such a way that anything coming from Discord or the game is delayed by up to a second. This means it will look like that I am talking over other people when it really wasn't the case. The issue has been identified, so this won't happen in the future, but I can't change it now. Now, with that out of the way, we shall start off with Colonel Failure laying down the rules.
Okay, right. I'm going to run through the rules here. The rules are limited. The only rule that we're going to impose is everybody in the room listening.
Yes.
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 Yes. Sort of.
Thank you. Right. Okay. So the only rules are with regard to communication. You are not allowed to communicate with another player until you've met them in the game.
Ooh.
Right.
I like it.
That's the only stipulation. Right. Once you have met another player, you may use one of the subspace channels and hop in there on voice comms and keep that channel open permanently. Obviously, if they have already met someone else, then there can be three of you in there. So basically, meetings are transferred.
Oh, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's say that I've met Vicar, and Vicar has previously met Vectrix. Then the three of us can be in the same room.
Could you explain how we
it's
know?
like the zeroth law of thermodynamics.
But
Something along those lines, and then eventually, what that means is that we will all end up in one big chat facility. I suggest that any covert communications, once you've met other people, remember nobody's going to break the no being in cahoots unless you've met someone. I suggest that private message is probably the way to go for that, but I'll leave that to your discretion.
And so it begins. Since we will be targeted by every player in the galaxy, our plan is reliant on taking over an enemy's empire at around year 50. To do this, we need to draw lines in which we will expand. Our starting location near the edge of the galaxy makes this a bit easier, since we should have plenty of room to grow unhindered to the south, given that no one else should spawn there. Other factors we need to consider are places in which we can have colonies, with size 16 and above having higher priority, and if there are any primitives nearby that we can harvest for energy. Using our 3 ships, we start scouting the nearby area for expansion opportunities and other empires. As luck would have it, the empire that spawned to the southwest turns out to be the only other machine intelligence in the game. Hello there, Fourleaf.
Hello, matey.
How are you doing this fine day?
I'm not too bad. I'm just quite happy that I met the other AI race.
Yes, it seems we are going to be quite lonely. I have detected France, who is just south of the galactic core.
Right. I've not moved outwards yet. I'm just kind of going up the back of the universe.
Yes. Well, hopefully, if the organics decide to invade, I should be able to stop them for a while. With a quick non-aggression pact and conversation, we have now secured our southwestern border from threat, allowing us to focus towards the north and east, where we have identified FTL-capable organic civilizations. Our presence has caused them to join together in an unlikely alliance, and whilst the name changes throughout its existence, it is known as the Confederacy of Southern States. Curious, we send a probe to make contact.
Who there?
Hello.
Hello?
System charted.
You are speaking to the emissary of the Spanish Erradicatores.
Oh my god!
And identify yourself.
Yes, yes. Very intimidating.
Biological scumbags.
Excellent. We shall enjoy turning you into batteries. Mwahaha.
Anomaly found.
I was wondering earlier when I entered your system, I was like, whatever.
Yes. That's why I brought the kernel away, so that I could verify the rules, because an exterminator with no ability to take out people. Yeah.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yes.
And well, who? Oh, I guess you see both of us. Then.
No, I only see one of you.
You only
But technically, through the rules, I can still talk to Diederik if I want to.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll bid you guys adieu so that you can talk about evil organic plans and that kind of stuff.
It's okay. I mean, we were just talking about having to exterminate the exterminators. That's all.
Of course. Well, I look forward to seeing you die in combat. Adieu. After the brief exchange, we managed to locate the other organic empires in the Confederacy, which is currently made up of France, Brazil, and North Korea. With this information, we have drawn the lines in which we will be operating and quickly go to fill them out. However, the Confederacy continues to obtain more members, with Russia and India joining the alliance. This is as far as the Confederacy gets in terms of its member states. As we continue to grow, the Confederacy proceeds to colonize and subjugate the nearby land from the indigenous AI empires. With their relative power exceeding ours, we open diplomatic channels to try and find out their next agenda.
You both ready for war?
Hello! How are you doing this evening?
That's smack talk.
Star system charge.
Hey, hi, murder bots.
Interaction
hi.
protocol established.
Who let the toasters in?
North Korea. Are you sort of preparing for the thing we talked about with the thing?
I am preparing.
Well,
Oh,
I'm
excellent.
sure it's going to be nothing to
Vanquished
stop our
by
goal of
Mama.
exterminating all life, is it?
Is this something I need to know about?
Well, I mean, we could use help for the thing.
Chaps, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Oh, I know why. It's because you're all filthy Xenos. Now get out of my space.
I'd love to be friends, but he's a psycho.
Heads up, it's the Imperium of Man.
I'd love to be friends, but he's a psycho murder bot.
Now that's just mean. Anyway, I'll leave you to your discussions of no importance. After disengaging communications, we receive a message from an as of yet unidentified alien race. Good. Colonel has just sent me a private message of all other life forms must be eliminated.
Technology secured. Secured.
And basically what I got the gist of is they're planning to attack me.
Did they kind of go quiet when you went in?
Yeah, they went extremely quiet, and we're talking about this the thing.
Project complete.
Specifically North Korea, who, if I were to have a look at now, still has equivalent fleet power. Oh well. With analysis on the communications complete, we shift our priority over to defense and deterrent, trying to improve our combat capabilities in the event of an attack. This seemed to help, as the Confederacy goes to war with the recently met Dutch instead of us, wasting valuable time and resources that could have been spent annihilating our fledgling fleet. Meanwhile, a scout in the north, tasked with finding the source of the message we received, locates another group of organics. These civilizations, however, have not allied with the Confederacy, instead forming a rival alliance known as the Commonwealth. With a potential ally in sight, we send an emissary to make contact. Diplomatic protocol engaged. Greetings.
Salutations. Good afternoon. How the devil?
Good day.
I am sure that you are aware that the Great Southern Confederation exists. Right.
Yes.
Well, I appear to be having some problems with them by the fact that I am rivaled with two of their members and they outnumber me 5-1.
I can see how that might pose to be a slight issue, yes. To be fair.
Now, whilst our mission is to eliminate all organic life, it is not specific in which order. So, if we could create some sort of pact where we don't attack each other until they're removed, that would be beneficial for both sides.
I feel that's acceptable for my vote in the Commonwealth, but this is a democracy.
Yeah. It gets my vote.
And 2 overrides Germans. So.
Okay then. Well, thank you for listening to us, and hope you have a pleasant day, or at least numbered days. With an agreement reached and the Commonwealth declaring war on a nearby AI empire, this leaves us with only the Confederacy to deal with. After investigating their progress with the Dutch war, we use the blind eyes of the galaxy to our advantage, proceeding to rapidly expand up to and around the Confederacy's border. Our military continues to expand, with cutting-edge carrier-class cruisers starting to make up the bulk of our fleet. In the background, the Commonwealth ends its war, having successfully taken 2/3 of the territory they were after, and Korea loses its navy in a battle against the Dutch, a navy that made up the majority of the Confederacy's fleet. In addition, a third party leaks to us information that indicates most Confederacy members have not developed ship hulls larger than corvettes, and are instead focusing their efforts on economy, funding North Korea's navy. As the Dutch war rages on, we are contacted by Brazil.
Slightly worried.
Who are you playing as? Brazil?
Are we still paused?
Yeah.
Alright, if we're paused, I'll speak.
Yeah, we took the 5-minute break because obviously Colonel was in the subspace A. I thought he might have popped in here.
No, he didn't.
Was like,
Yeah,
pause
but
for 5 minutes.
why are you worried?
Well, mainly I was only worried because it's part of the border expansion. Because I'm using hyperlanes, so it actually cut off part of my where I was able to travel. So I'm gonna have to sort of try and go a bit northwest to see if if I can go past the ascendancy.
Well, everything
Stupid hyperlinks.
northwest of you is completely fine. Like the only thing there is the Fallen Empire, and there's probably quite a few.
Well, I think I've not pissed them off anyway, so I think I've got open borders with them anyway. So
yes.
What are you worried about anything for? You've got like half the map behind you.
Yeah, but I've been dragged into wars that I didn't want to be, and lost a big portion of my fleet because they had a bit of trouble with north, like an AI up in the corner, so I got talked into it.
Well, if you're having problems with your current federation,
no problem.
then I might suggest you join the boys to the north. Because they seem to be a bit more peaceful.
I was like, I can't. It's a sort of bit weird, sort of jumping ship on a federation that I started.
Yes. However, please note that
just boot everyone else out.
You'd be the Italy of Stellaris.
Please note that your federation currently is main target number 1 because Korea is getting a bit too big for my liking. Which means I'll have to attack them.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake because we confederated. So, well, not confederated. We vassalized people, so they just suddenly expanded with some vassals.
But if you're worried about getting drawn into another war that you don't want to be in, then I suggest leaving the Federation and joining the people up north because we have a non-aggression agreement with them. Or don't, and be caught in the crossfire. But I'm not going to plan on attacking your area. Korea is my main concern for any engagement, if it were to happen.
Yeah, I might ask about that, because I'm also I am close enough to link up with Australia, so...
Oh, we're live. And you're being asked into migration treaties as well.
Yeah, okay, right. I'll back out.
With Brazil wanting to defect, we wait for the Dutch war to close. Okay, they went to peace. Only vassalize? Okay.
Construction complete.
Excellent, right. We're good. We're good.
Holy.
They have. So, now it begins.
Construction complete. We have declared war to safeguard our interests.
Yep, that just happened. Well, we're probably dead, but that's fine. Oh, I didn't invite you to the war, did I? Well, technically you're not at war, but if you get declared war on, then I'll be brought into the fight.
So what's
that?
What's happened there?
Brazil left, so therefore I declared war. Because I was either I was waiting for Brazil to leave. Oh my god, my time is moving so slowly. No. The enemy fleet was en route to our location, so we needed to inflict as much damage as possible. Sadly, our ground forces were not in a position to start the invasion of French soil, so our fleet prioritized frontier outposts and mining stations. Once the enemy fleet did arrive, they started invading one of our outlying worlds. Their fleets were arriving piecemeal and were unorganized, allowing us to catch some of them out of position. The rest of their fleets managed to engage, but the Russians had already lost their cruisers due to no anti-fighter capabilities. The North Korean fleet, however, managed to wipe out the outdated scout craft which had made up a majority of our fleet's firepower, and forced us to flee back into FTL. Meanwhile, our reserve of cruisers, which had been under construction since the beginning of the war and were outfitted with high-tech bombers, mobilized into Korean space, leading the remainder of the Confederate fleet away from our territory. Having given the main fleet time to repair and rearm, our forces played a game of cat and mouse, taking out valuable wormhole stations and enemy reinforcements, until they were caught by the enemy fleet and forced to flee back home. With our fleets united under one admiral totaling at around 7,000 fleet power, we set off to engage the remains of the enemy forces. Hello!
Robots!
How are you
Sounds like
doing?
robots.
Oh wait, not well, I guess. How was your fleet?
Okay. That's okay. Recovering.
Indeed. Well, I am willing to stop this war for humiliating you. If you want to. I see that you did it with my ally down south. Just to humiliate you, which will only give me influence and make you lose influence, and that's it. Because that's the only war demand I put on there.
I am perfectly okay with that, personally.
Right.
Well, that's just me, but
No,
you're
I'm
not
at
you're
war
not
with
at war with
North
me.
Korea.
You're at
So
war
it's
with North
really their
Korea.
choice.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Excellent.
There you go.
And now you can't attack me for 10 years. Our fleet returned home victorious, but there was much work to be done. Perhaps due to disagreements or loss of faith, the Russians and Indians defected to the Commonwealth, leaving Korea and France alone. The Confederacy disbanded, and after a short talk with the Commonwealth over the fate of the remaining states, France was vassalized by Brazil and North Korea was left to the wolves. After verification, the disillusioned Korea became the vassal of our ally, Japan, wishing to get revenge on their former allies, where slowly but surely North Korea's territory was integrated into our growing empire. As the ceasefire drew to an end, we contacted the Commonwealth about the fate of France, wishing that they must have the same fate as North Korea, since they were the empire that wanted us dead the most. We were met with resistance, and were asked to wait until they made a decision in 6 months' time. Our ally, Japan, had stayed in call after we left, learning that they planned on declaring war. With time running out, we mustered our fleet, which now contained battleship carriers, and was valued at just below 40,000 fleet power, a power higher than the rest of the galaxy combined. With 6 months up, we contacted the Commonwealth to hear their verdict. Diplomatic protocol.
This is totally your fault, so.
Greetings.
Salutations.
What?
How's it
Hello.
going?
Technology secure.
Yeah, war.
You request a war.
Muscle tough.
No.
We do not request. We demand war.
Oh, wait, gents, did I just agree to war? I thought we were choosing this year's holiday
Interesting.
destination.
Oh well, never
Well
mind.
then, it seems that my war plans will have to be enacted now instead of in 2 months.
Construction complete.
Is that the same 2 months that we gave you in terms of 6 months?
Enemy
Interesting.
presence exposed.
Now, I don't want to clear off, but I will.
Clear off.
And so came the first galactic war. We were ready this time, and quickly moved towards French soil, first invading Allo, and then moving to Monkeys in the Surrender system. Surrender had a significant enemy fleet above it, likely a staging area used before declaring war. We attempted to engage the enemy fleets, however our warp cooldown allowed more of their fleet to arrive in-system before moving to attack. They outnumbered our ships and were attacking from all angles. We managed to deal a hefty hit to their forces, knocking out a quarter of their 50k fleet power. However, we lost 20% of our own 34.4k fleet before deciding to escape to Spain and join the reserve. The enemy went back to take Allo, overwhelming the defensive forces stationed there, and then set off into our territory. Whilst invading one of our shipyards, our fleet, now united with our reserve, moved in and destroyed the Brazilian forces that had been set apart from the others in the system. The rest engaged, but our fleet now outnumbered theirs, especially since some of their ships chose to retreat or were slow to join. With the enemy routed, our fleet mopped up the scattered remains of their forces. The Commonwealth assembled all their ships for a last stand, but the AI-controlled Dutch, the larger fleet, retreated, leaving the meager forces remaining to die. With victory in hand, we went to taunt the opposition. You think insults will stop us? Ah, okay.
No, I just wanted to insult you.
A bunch more ships might stop me.
A bunch more ships, maybe.
But that a bunch would have to be pretty big.
You know, if our Dutch allies had moved their asses, we would actually have had a good chance there.
Stupid.
But no, while we're having the fight of our lives, they're like, yeah, we'll keep bombing this planet.
No, we'll just watch.
Ah, so blaming a primitive artificial intelligence. Ah, okay.
No, we're blaming Elzar.
Proving my point
organic.
exactly. And now, time to bombard my own planet, for some reason.
Quick, someone give him a logical paradox.
This statement is false.
What
You're breaking
laws?
the 3 laws of robotics.
There is no stick in heaven.
There is no spoon.
Has anyone seen the map?
What about the map recently?
About how depressing it looks.
I mean, it was quite disturbing just how quickly the Koreans folded.
Yes. Admittedly, he had to leave. So he basically let me.
Everyone, since everyone but it's the fact that everyone but them and France abandoned the original Federation.
And the worst thing was that in the original Federation down south, I was arguing rather heavily that we should pummel you quite heavily instead of engaging the Dutch because you were becoming a threat. And back then we could easily have done so. Yeah, because we could have curbed you.
Buildings ruined.
Because the Dutch were pissing off the Colonel and Victrix.
Yeah, it's like, we want more land. Okay.
Construction complete.
And then, because we acquiesced that, then everyone was like, nah, this is a warlike alliance.
Sounds like a problem. You know how you can solve it? By only having one mind.
Construction complete. Construction complete.
Actually,
You are not Borg.
Resistance is futile.
But they are a Gestalt consciousness.
I don't even have that that mod. Sorry, that DLC.
What?
Did someone say something about peace?
Yeah, let's try that.
Well,
We can live on in peace. We don't.
If you will accept it, France will.
A third of all known space to one faction. I think that's pretty reasonable.
But if you'll accept it, France will become one of you if you spare
I'll send
the
you
rest.
a
No, we're
peace
okay.
offer.
We'll keep
Give me a
France. It's
second.
all right.
He's loving this, isn't he?
Interesting.
Da, 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 da.
He's just looking. Hayes is just looking for an easy way out.
No.
Oh look, guys! I'm all of a sudden. on the
Notice
way.
how that offer
I am
will
so
make it so
doomed.
that Russia is completely under my control. Oh,
No, I said France would surrender.
okay then.
Enemy presence exposed.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said France was
I-
friendly. You only ever wanted France.
I don't speak for Russia.
Yes,
There's a
there
bit
is,
of
which means
France
you
in the
wouldn't
middle- in the middle of
completely
Brazil.
die. It also means that I need to kill your frontier outposts
Construction complete.
because they will be in the way.
Who?
No,
what,
not
mine?
yours.
No, I
Hayes.
don't. I don't agree to that. Oh, fine. That's fine then.
You need to decline it.
Is this your final
I'm
offer?
sending you a different one.
I haven't. Oh, you send it to the Russians.
Yeah, that's who starts.
Well, that's
Zorn
who
the
we
one who
declared
took
war
the
with.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll take that.
Excellent.
Quite happily.
Ouch.
It
Oh,
is
that's
quite
painful.
painful.
Under the bus
It
you
seems
go.
that way. Anyway, thank you for doing business with us. And in the end, with the French and North Koreans dead and the Commonwealth fleet destroyed, we proceeded to slowly cleanse the galaxy of all organic life. Whilst the stragglers united under the Arabian Crusade, becoming vassals to a tyrant they could not stand. Not now, not ever again. The age of the organics has ended. The time of the machine has come.